You need to be on your phone doing Facebook, and we can interrupt you.
I do not play on Facebook.
She does not.
I organize events like this. But anyway, you know, I'm sure somebody can think of something nice to say about one of these guys, or maybe two, probably not all three. But we'll just kind of like have open mic for a little bit. But let's no more pauses between people. Let's just keep this thing moving. Come on, Richard Gregory's up.
Let's go.
Fine.
Good.
First up.
Lead off. Okay. Well, so it's kind of scares me that with these guys going, that the only people that have been here longer than me is Fort and Greg, and that's, wow, I'm getting old.
We're subtracting off Greg's.
That's right. So technically, I'm only one semester behind Greg, so catching up there. So it's hard to believe I've been here 9 years, and yeah, you too.
This is not about you, Richard.
Listen, I'm getting to it. Where it all started for me, though, was really in Carrie Patterson's office. That's really where this became real to me, because the day I came to interview, the scariest thing I did all day was sit in Carrie's office for an hour.
Our students feel bad.
Yes, I knew. I was like, Elizabeth Watts warned me, this thing moves. This thing moves, guys.
I know.
I know.
Said that we encourage.
But sitting in Carrie's office, and we sit down, and the very first thing he asked me is, so why do you want to teach at Lipscomb? And I felt, like I just finished a PhD, and here I feel like an 18-year-old sitting down in the principal's office. But I say that was scary. It started off scary, but it turned into one of the most friendly conversations. And I believe set me on a great trajectory. And I thank Carrie for that, and I have always looked up to Carrie. And always, my aspiration is someday I want to be as good a teacher. I want to have the relationship with students that he has, because he has been my role model the whole time. He is how I need to interact with students. He's how I need to present the material in the class. John, I've never seen anybody that goes the extra mile more than John. When I found out that John was giving his cell phone number out to students, I was like, oh my word. Yeah, thank goodness. Because I was like, I am not, the students were asking me, I was like, I am not giving my cell phone number. There's no way. But that was the thing I learned from John is learn to give for your students. Because they
You need to clarify that he didn't carry a cell phone, so guess whose cell phone?
New information. Moving on to Joe. I have so enjoyed getting to know Joe, and the thing I have learned from Joe is a skill that I very much needed to learn, and that is how to stand up and fight for what I need and for what my students need. And I've been in meetings with Joe where Joe and I came into the room not agreeing. We left the room not agreeing, but I always respected Joe because I knew where Joe was coming from. And I have watched Joe for the last couple of years and studied him. And I know that Joe is always fighting for what he believes his department needs, his faculty needs, and his students need. And I will treasure that and try my best to carry on with that. I love you all. I love your spouses in a non-creepy way. And I'm going to miss all of you, but I got a feeling I'm going to see all of you around. So.
Yay.
Next.
Wait for it. I know you're ready.
Well, okay.
Well, okay. Oh, yeah. We're all, Richard's choking on coffee over there.
Okay. Yeah, all these talking people ahead of me. Okay. I'm going to start with Joe. I'm going to work my way through the seniority here. Joe, appreciate what you've done for the college. Appreciate the way you came in here and brought things for civil engineering, brought us up to speed. And I really appreciate that. I really wish wish, you know, we'd had more time together to get to know you better. John, thank you so much for being, you know, who you are and coming in. You know, you, with George O'Connor, you know, was here ahead of you. Yeah, I know. Those are mighty big shoes to fill, mighty big suspenders to fill. But I mean, I really, you know, you've been a great person to walk with. Really have. And of course, Carrie, you know, when Fred Gillum became dean, and the first thing he said, we're going to hire this guy. I'm going, who? What are you talking about? You know, and it's been one of the best decisions that Fred ever made. I really appreciate that. Okay, so I've got a little bit of a gift for each of you. Okay, now, the wardrobe thing tonight is interesting, I think. And so let me see, I gotta make sure I get these to the right people. Okay, this one is for John. Okay, don't open it yet, okay? But you guys are probably not quite, you know, as fancy as you could be. So I've brought you something to go with your tuxedo for next time you wear it. Okay, now both of you are big sports fans and supporters. So go ahead and open up your gift. And I think it'll go very nicely with your tuxedo.
This doesn't go nicely with anything.
At least yours has the right initial on it, you know? Show everybody what it is. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Now both of you. Okay. All right. Wow. So you guys can burn them.
Some of my best friends are Alabama fans.
I just think they would go really nicely with your tuxedos tonight. You know. Actually, Joey might buy it from him. I don't know.
Believe it or not, in my desk drawer, I have one of these that's felt. I've been waiting for us to win over SEC.
Okay, you might be waiting for a while. And then Carrie. Okay, Carrie, I decided not to go with a sports thing for you necessarily. Oh, this is too small. Okay, go ahead. But I've actually got something else for you as well. I felt kind of sorry for you that you weren't to dress up. Okay? So go ahead and open that up. Yeah, open it up. Show it right.
Saves the day. Patience.
He's got to unwrap it first. I didn't really know I caught it that time. There you go. Oh, wow. Did pretty well. I have to tell you, Carrie, that I had trouble finding that, and the only size I could find was a boy's extra large. But you look really good in it. You look really good in it.
Thank you.
One
of my dear friends. You're not going to tell a story about that hat, are you?
I'm going to let you tell that one. I'll tell it if you want me to.
No, you can tell it.
Okay. It's Florida Gators cap. I started to give him this, and I decided that probably wouldn't be nice. But back in the day, when we were all in the basement of McFarland, the room across from Joe, that's where sustainability is now, was one of our classrooms. And we had, I don't know, half a dozen students in there, and I don't know what you were teaching here. But
I wasn't teaching.
You
Fred was teaching.
Who was?
Fred.
Fred was teaching, okay.
Maybe I should tell.
You were.
All right, I'll have to tell it. He has a hat. So there was a young man in the class who was a big Florida fan, and he was talking trash to Dr. Gillum about the upcoming Florida-Tennessee game, and he had on a Florida hat. It's unbelievable. So, Fred, I'm walking by the classroom, and Fred said, Dr. Patterson, come in here. There's some disrespectful talk going on. So I walked in the room. That's my first big mistake. And the student was sitting like on the second row, and he had this hat on. And Fred said, he's been talking a lot of trash in here about the big orange. So, Carolyn, in her opinion, sure. So, I walked back to the second row, took his hat, and went up in front of him. That was in the spring semester. And I went to work. I was still. I had no idea what use I had. So in the spring, that was in the spring semester, and I was still going back to DC to work in the summer. So about that same time frame, Dr. Gwin got in here. Just that, I have to say that. I have to say that because Fred calls me from in DC and says, Carrie, I've got to talk to you about something. And I said, what? Ford's got another earring? And he said, no, I wish it were that easy. So this student's father contacted Steve Flatt, president of the university, and demanded that I be fired. Or if I wasn't fired, that I get some training. How I dealt with students. So the next time I was in town, I had to come back and talk to Steve Flatt about what happened. That student eventually, he left. Transferred to another place. The claim was that action in the classroom that day caused him to do poorly in his studies the rest of the time he was at. So that's the story. No, but
Anyway.
it would.
We wish he had, but he didn't have to.
The instructor turned him down.
You're not up there yet.
Oh, you want to share with the group? No, anyway.
David said, I didn't get sensitivity training because the instructor turned me down.
Hey, I bet Richard is like the Alabama. But guys, it's been a fun ride.
I'm gonna wait and stop it later.
Yeah. It's been a fun ride, and it's not over yet. And I look forward to seeing all of you back on campus in some capacity. I know Carrie's going to be doing a great job at the Future Center, but the other two guys, I really hope to see you on campus a lot. So, next question.
Well, we rarely have an opportunity to celebrate 3 pioneers with engineering, with Lipscomb Engineering. There's one guy that I also want to recognize, and I don't think, maybe most of you know this, but maybe some of you don't, is that there was a guy named Gwin who started in 1999 teaching physics. And he, with 2 other cronies, really are responsible for the engineering school. Dude. You know, if if you were gonna take 3 people to sort of start a mechanical engineering program, an electrical engineering program, and a civil engineering program, we could not find 3 better people to do it. And I think the success that we've achieved is very, very clearly a factor of the leadership that these 3 have had. And we're going to miss you guys. It's going to be long faces around, but we're counting on seeing you often around the building. We're going to see if we can find appropriate rooms to, put up the John Pettit Memorial, men's room, or something. So we're going to try to find something in the new building that's appropriate.
Following that after.
Yeah, exactly. But thank you, all 3 of you, for what you've done. It's a rare opportunity, and I was talking about this with another faculty member on campus when we were talking about replacing faculty. And I said, it's really rare to be able to go somewhere and start something. It really is a rare opportunity. And I had that once in my life when I started at UCF. I joined them in the 2nd year of its operation. And we're camped out. There are 5 faculty in one room, in the library. So it's, Melissa says I'm done. little does she know. So we're camped out of the library with 5, faculty members, and there's something about growing something from the ground up. My first official act when I came here is writing a bunch of memos to Kathy Hargis saying, we got to get that radon out of the basement.
I'm done now.
Well, I'll be brief since Justin took up. I want to start with Carrie, because I think I kind of started with Carrie and Fort. Fort and I had coffee one day, and kind of like, well, I don't know if this can happen. And then I got invited back, and I think he brought Carrie along. And I said, you gotta talk to this guy. And Carrie, I could tell he didn't really want to be there, but he came. And we talked for a while, and then Fort said, we need to go have lunch sometime. And I knew that I had a chance when Carrie says, yeah, I'll go with you. Okay. And I think the highlight of my mission work that I've done, which is very minor compared to a lot of you guys, but was the morning that I locked Carrie in the room. And I hear that he had to climb out the window to get out. I sure wish we had had a video of that. Yeah. And Joe, of course, starting off with Joe and working on the curriculum and learning all that I learned from him. And when you get older, not old yet, but older, and you don't get a chance to be mentored as much, I think, or you don't feel like you're being mentored as much when you're younger. But working with Joe and seeing how he operates has just been, such a blessing for my life, so, and my career and the future of that. So appreciate that, Joe. Thank you. And being next door to him, down in the basement, and breathing that right on together. As long as this works, and many ways. And John, what I'm gonna miss the most about you is designing your driveway. I mean, it seems like you've been working on this driveway for like 5 years. Chris, can you figure out how to get this driveway up to this house I want to build on this guy?
You got some good instrumentation for me, good GPS.
Oh, yeah.
Survey equipment, I could have gotten it done.
Well, we'll try to work that into that.
Okay.
But I'm gonna miss all you guys dearly, and I'm sure we get to see a lot of you around.
Being rather new here, I don't have a lot of way back stories to go for you three. I will say that it's been wonderful to work with you for the past year and a half. The only time I've seen Carrie nervous was about 2 weeks before the semester started here a year and a half ago, and he realized he wasn't going to be teaching, he transferred. And I just felt like you were losing a little bit of control of the students that you'd have the next semester. And you were talking around the border of not telling me what you wanted me to do, but really encouraging me to use that ease software. I appreciate the guidance, and it just goes to show, how much you care for the baby you've helped to create with
I'm over it.
I don't think so. To all three of you, thank you. I remember reading Chuck Swindoll's work on the mystery of God's will. He made a statement saying, following God requires a change. That can be a change in geography, that can be a change in income, that can be a change in relationships, lots of different changes. And all three of you I know had successful careers in other places and chose to leave that known and do something unknown and make a sacrifice. We're definitely blessed for it, and I know our students are 10 times more blessed for having you guys and what you've done. So I thank you.
All right, well, so I have a unique relationship with Gary and with Ford because my relationship with them started out student and professor because I met both of them in Guatemala on mission trips. And really, those trips are partly the reason I'm here because I got to see professors working, side by side with their students, and that was just so meaningful to me because I remember my first experience with Carrie was kind of fearful because he was very stone-faced. I don't know.
Somebody was going to say that.
Were you wearing a Florida?
I don't remember. That might explain a lot.
You weren't, we made it.
The Gator engineering.
But no, I remember we worked on, it was a gutter system and then rain catchment. And yeah, and at first it was really intimidating, but I remember being very surprised because he trusted my instinct, or he would ask my opinion and actually encourage me to, speak up. And that was really significant at the time and really touching because I came from a school where most of my professors didn't know my name. So then I came to Lipscomb as an employee and got to actually work under Joe. And I just felt so encouraged by this entire faculty because you all believed in me and actually, treated me as a colleague and not just a former student. But I've gotten to work with Carrie in the Peugeot Center and just get so much advice and wisdom from him, even just in passing. I don't even know that I realized it was happening, but just recently I was on my way to go meet up with him and I had been having a conversation about mentors. And I was so frustrated because it's so hard to find mentors, and they tell you you don't actually find them, they find you. And I had been talking, and I left that conversation to go meet with Carrie, and I realized that I was going to meet with my mentor. And he had been mentoring me without me even realizing it for over a year. So I would say I'm going to miss him, but I feel like I'm going to see him probably just as much because of our interactions with PJSM, but just really can't thank you enough for everything. And John, I've really enjoyed the few conversations that we've gotten to have. I wish there were more, but it's really clear that you all are all going to be missed dearly, and I'm really grateful for the time that I've had to spend with you.
Well, I will never forget one of my first interactions with Dr. Pettit. I guess it was an interaction, and it happened in the men's restroom. Most of you didn't know where I'm going with this one. And I was at the wall unit, we'll call it that since we're in a nice place, doing my business, and he walked in and went straight to the laboratory, and we greeted. I think we greeted each other. All right. And the water was on, and I thought, good night, he's got dirty hands. I mean, how long in the world, how long is he going to wash his hands? I finished what I was doing, still washing. What in the world? I took a step back, and he was, of course, over there washing out his soup bowl. I thought, we gotta get this guy a kitchenette. That's one of the things I hate that you're gonna miss about the new building. We're gonna have hopefully at least a dedicated sink where future professors, the John Pettit sink, where you can wash out your soup bowl. Yeah. Well, I will tell you that I just celebrated 10 years of Lipscomb just recently, and